Hi guys, welcome to this video. If you're watching this, if you've ever been hurt, if you've ever wanted to know how to heal yourself and really get yourself out of a pickle, this is going to be the video for you. So let's talk about the situation. Actually, before we talk about the situation, I just want to let you know that at the end of this video, there's going to be a special invitation to something really excited that I'm really excited to share. So if you're a fan, if you're someone who likes what I do, and if you've got some, how do I say this? If you've got some benefit out of the videos that I've given out to you guys, you're going to definitely want to watch the announcement, the special surprise gift at the end of this video. But let's talk about the situation. I would argue at one point in time that maybe someone someone you know has been hurt. And truth be told, I kind of want to talk about why this happens and how to get out of it. Because most people will tell you, you need to heal, you need time. And while that might be true, I've basically uncovered the secret about why time heals all wounds. And so when you understand why time heals all wounds, you can apply it and you can make it something that is one, intentional, but two, you can make it something that works easily for you and you don't necessarily have to worry about, but I'm just going to self-sabotage or put people down or all this kind of stuff. So let's talk more about a situation. So you might be in a situation, or you might have been in a situation where someone has said something or done something that's hurt you. Now, most of the time, this might be, for example, a breakup, or it might be, for example, you've gone through life and someone has passed away. Grieving process, it's the same thing, but for now I want to specifically talk about something to do with more relationships, because I'm a relationship coach first and foremost, so I want to help you through that. And then once you understand it in that, we use relationships as your microcosm. You can then apply it to the rest of your life. So in a relationship, you might have gone through a breakup, you might have gone through a divorce, someone might have rejected you. You might have mustered up all your courage to go and talk to that special cute someone and to have that person say, sorry, what, who are you? That shit fucking hurts, right? And so the real big reason, and I want to help you understand this, and some people are going to hear this and it's going to be a big fucking shift. For other people, you might hear it and go, that's great, I know what's next. And I'm speaking to those people who are ready for that shift. Not to those people who just want to mentally masturbate and kind of understand and kind of be like, or kind of think to themselves, oh yeah, that's good, but how does it apply to me? Because honestly, I'm about to share how it applies to you, and if you can't hear it, then I would argue that you're just not ready for it yet. And come back to this video 1-2 years time, whatever. So the real reason why we get hurt is because there is a fledgling part of our identity that is coming to form itself. It's coming to evolve, it's coming to be part of who we are. And what happens is when something happens, someone does something to us, it basically, it stifles that growth. It stifles, and it's like that part of us is hurt. Not we are hurt, but that part of us is hurt. That's why you might feel like, okay, I'm an attractive person, and I'm an attractive person. And you go up to that person and you say, hi, how are you? And they go, you go, oh, I'm not an attractive person. And then your mind scrambles. So under this paradigm, under this way of thinking, I'm going to argue that there are two kinds of people, and this is down to situation. This is not down to you're this or this. This is down to the situation, because you might be person one in your workplace, and might be person two in your relationships. But they are very simply, very, very simply, they are someone who is trying to prove themselves. So they are, for example, if you've ever been to a comedy show where someone, you see the comedian and it's clearly they're using it as therapy. And you go, oh my God, here we go again. These are the kind of people that if you're trying to prove yourself, you're trying to prove yourself you're worthy of love. You're trying to prove to yourself that, someone might love you or that you can make things happen. What you're doing is you're practicing not being there yet. And this is why I would argue that most people push other people away without even realizing, I just didn't feel right, oh, they were too needy and all this kind of stuff. Why? Because you were trying to prove yourself. Prove yourself using some external means. Sure, we can use the external, we can use the internal, all this kind of stuff. That's a story for another time. But were you trying to use the relationship, right? And you were drawing energy from the relationship because you were making it a prove yourself relationship. So as a result, you pushed your partner away. Now, the second kind of person is those people who don't have to prove themselves. It's an identity thing. That might be that you don't have to prove yourself that you are, that you're here or there, and you become a little bit more fearless because It's not a thing that you do. It's a thing that you are. For example, there are people out there who have that confidence skills, that can talk to anyone, and then there are those people who don't. And those people who don't, what they do is they protect the space that they have. I'm not saying it's bad to protect the space that I have. I think it's really important, especially if you're learning, especially if you're growing, to protect the space that you have. But what happens is when you're in that space, right, and you're trying to protect that space, you end up creating habits and doing things that end up making it harder for yourself anyway. You either practice being or you practice getting there. You know, you're in a state of wanting or in a state of having. Now, those people, specifically with social situations, what will happen is when they don't need to prove themselves, they know they're just a social person. They know how to get around it. They know what to do. They know who they are. They don't need to create habits like, okay, before I go to a party, I've got to look at myself and say, you are a good person. You don't need to do that. You know, it's the same thing. I find a lot of people, we create morning habits out of self-proving, self-loathing, self-creation to try and form new habits to get us to feel like we are a certain person. But you were always that person. You just didn't feel it. And so how do you do it? How do you do it? I'm going to tell you in a second. Calm down. We've got to step our ways to there. But in the same paradigm, there are people who are proving themselves, there are people who have proved themselves. Those people who don't necessarily need to prove themselves, what they end up doing is they end up creating habits that support that. They, for example, they don't need to create a morning ritual of, I am good, I am love, I am all this kind of stuff, because they know it, and so they don't need to prove it. And as a result, what happens is they create habits that enforce their already established beliefs. This comes down to the very simple idea that I've said this 1,000 times, 1,000 times, 1,000 times, and 1,000 times. You don't get into a relationship to be happy. You get into a relationship because you're happy. If you're trying to do it to be happy, you end up sapping energy from the relationship. You crash it. You crash and burn that shit. But if you do it because it's a reflection of your happiness, you're giving to it. It's the difference between sucking from a balloon and blowing into it. Eventually, when you suck from a balloon, you're going to inhale it, you're going to fucking choke. But when you're blowing into the balloon, you're expanding it. Now, this is an infinitely expanding balloon. You are not going to pop it. You don't have to worry about it. You just have to feel that you are enough, that you have it as an identity level. Now, you might be saying, but how do I feel like I'm enough? What's the strategy? Now, I've already created in the past the 7-day self-love course. And this video is sort of a follow-up for that because I've had a number of people that did that 7-day self-love course, and it's currently, if you've already got access to it, you got access to it, but it's currently impossible to get access to it now unless I accidentally slip up and show you a link or you find the original videos. But in that course, what I did was I showed you the tools on how to accept different parts of you. Now, what I found was then people took to it to an interesting extreme. You know, they started to try and self-love themselves to victory. They go, I just got to love myself more to get that thing over there. And you didn't fucking take action. You didn't do anything, but it's really important because when you love yourself, you kind of feel a bit better. Now, what I want to argue here is just a very simple thing that you can do, right? It's a very simple thing. And what happens is when you do this, you end up reconnecting parts of who you are. If you've ever felt like when you've been hurt, it kind of feels like an axe wound to part of your body. Like for me, when I've been hurt and I feel it in my chest, it's like a fucking axe wound to my chest. What happens is when you do what I'm about to share with you, and then you listen to the announcement afterwards, what'll happen is it's almost like you'll feel like little fibers kind of connecting. You know, you'll kind of feel parts of your body coming together and reaffirming, realigning, reconnecting in whole new ways. In fact, for some people, if you're really sensitive to the emotions in your body, you're gonna feel like this is an orgasmic experience. You know, I was doing this, I'm walking around having a great time. My chest is like singing and I'm thinking, I want everyone else to feel this. So what you wanna do, especially if you're feeling hurt, right? Now, this is down to the person, and almost sharing this online is kind of like putting a band-aid on a broken bone. So if you want to be led through this, we've got to do this on a call. You can apply for one at loveonmyterms.com. If you want to do this, we can lead you through this. It's very important. But if you want to give it on your own try, what you want to do is ask yourself the question, who am I? It's all about your identity, right? It's all about your identity. Because what happens is we get hurt, that fledgling part of our identity that's malformed or not formed yet and someone axes it because it's not strong enough to defend itself. So you want to ask yourself, who am I? Now, obviously, if I'm leading yourself through this process, I will get you to feel the parts of you that you need to feel and ask those questions to heal those parts. But first of all, you can't go about this thinking you're broken. That's a big thing. You can't answer that question and go, who am I? I'm afraid. Because I'm going to argue, you're not an afraid person. You didn't come out of the womb living in fear. You didn't, sure, you cried. You know, you were communicating. You're like, this is a nut. What am I fucking doing here? But you didn't, when you're a child, when you don't know right from wrong, you don't know to eat the fucking tambark or not, the dirt or not, I would argue that there is a pure sense of connection, a pure sense of freedom that most people have as children. And then someone comes along the way and they ruin it for us. Someone told us to be afraid. Someone told us to feel hurt, or someone hurt us and we didn't know how to process it. They axe wounded that part of us that needed to grow. So I'm then here to say, I want you to ask yourself and feel, if there are parts of you that need it the most, feel that part and ask yourself, who am I? Now, you want to look for the positive answers. You want to look for the answers that are going to heal you and grow you and connect with you and have a deeper sense of, oh my God, I am a strong person. I am a leader. I am the champion. I'm a friend. I'm a good person. And you want to let these things start coming. And then what will happen is you run out of answers. And that's where the real growth happens. You'll feel it. You'll keep asking that question. When you keep asking that question, you come up with new answers. That's when you really start to connect with yourself. When you start to connect with yourself, what will happen is do this as a meditation. 10 minutes a day. Swear to God. Do that. Mwah. Very good. But what will happen is you'll go through this, right? And you'll start to see shifts in your day-to-day life. You don't need to have some profound landslide of an experience. To me, a breakthrough can be that smallest, most purest moment where instead of, if you're asking for coffee and you're afraid of asking for soy milk because you're thinking, oh, they're going to judge me, but you ask for it anyway, that's a breakthrough. Instead of starting like you normally would be like, oh, what do I say? What do I do? You just go up to that person and say hi and you don't even think about it. That's a breakthrough. If you go through a situation where you do have a big moment and you tell that person what you've been thinking about them for all this time, regardless of if they're going to accept it or not, that is a breakthrough. That is you connecting deeper with who and what you are. And that is my job as your coach. That is my job as your guide through this. I'm here to lead you through the process for you to discover that you already have the answers. You are a fucking creator. You are a gift to humanity. You are a gift to anyone you talk to. And if you are thinking anything less than that, then in my opinion, that's shit we got to work on. Because most people live for scraps. Most people live for scraps that other people give them. Most people live in a place where they're thinking, and I get this because I talk to you guys. I see this, where you're not getting what you want, so you settle for less, and as a result, you get used to it. You get so used to it that you think it's okay. And then there are the others, and I went down this path. I've gone down all these motherfucking paths. We go down a path where we think, okay, maybe I'll try removing myself from suffering. But all you're doing is numbing yourself to who and what you are. If going down a path where you go, okay, I don't want to suffer anymore, so I'm just not going to try, happens, and you feel okay with that, then great, go do that. But if you don't, if you feel like there's more to it than that, if you feel like you're someone who needs more, then I'm going to argue that this is where we need to go down. That it's your identity that needs to be strengthened. But you say, oh, but the ego is bad. Who said that? But it gets me into trouble. That's because you just weren't considerate to other people. It can be part of your ego to care about others. You can be in your own ability to say, I love others, I care about them. And I've been someone who was afraid most of my life, afraid to admit how much I cared about others. So I know that I've come from this place, that now I'm admitting to myself that I can do that. So I want to invite you on a journey. Basically, the reason why I've done this video, rather than the normal, look, we're sitting like this. Isn't this a nice thing? Basically, I have a new program that I am announcing. And before I called it Project Perfect Partners Happy Relationships, I think right now I'm going to call it Love/Life Transformations or Transformation. Basically, this is my new 8-week program, and it's going to be launching in September. But what I'm looking for is 10 beta testers. Now, as of this video, there are already a few people that have taken the first few slots. So if you want access to it, you gotta fucking act now. Because when this program is released, I have been told by experts, and I'm not quite sure if I'll go down this path, I have been told by experts that a program like this, the amount of change that we do, should be worth $10,000. Now, for the people that are the first 10 people through this program, what you're gonna do is you're gonna get it for 1/10 of the price. That's $1,000. Now, if you're wanting to do this, what's going to happen is basically, and you're like, what is the fucking program? Basically, after this program, you're going to break through the glass ceiling of where you are at in life. And also, it's not going to be a program that you do once and you're like, great, now what's moving on? You're going to have access to it for all time. You know, I'll be there leading you through it. It's like a kind of, my joke, I call it the Harvey School of Love. Because I'm taking you through this process. And if you want a little bit of insight about what's actually happening in the program, I'm going to put up screens from the rough guide right now. Check it out. Holy shit. Isn't it amazing? Because truth be told, any real transformation starts with your relationship with yourself, and it ends with your relationship with your goal, what you're trying to do, who you are, and where you're at. So that's the 8-week program, and I'm really excited to be announcing it. I'm really excited to be sharing it, and honestly, if you're one of these people who want to be a beta tester, now the reason why it's 1/10 of the price is, one, I want to document the change. I basically want you to do a before and after video, like this is what I'm doing it for, and this is what I'm going to get out of it. Holy shit, this is amazing. I want you to do one of these videos, and you're going to be like my custodian. Now, I've already got my champion. I want you to be my custodian for this program, to be one of the first people through this, because this is going to be the program that I'm doing. I'm no longer going to be working one-on-one. It's only going to be through this program. So if you want to apply, right, it's going to be starting early September, first 2 weeks of September. If you want to apply, please go to www.loveonmyterms.com. You can apply for the generic, like the free call. Just do the fucking free call. You'll get some good stuff out of it. And we can also talk about the program to see if it's a good fit for you, to see if you actually want it, to see if we'll be a good fit, because that's also important, and to move forward in it. Or if you're just interested, email me at harvey@gethimhooked.com, or you can message me on Instagram @gethimhooked, or you can just go on my website and there'll be a little thing that'll pop up. That's a messenger that literally goes direct to me. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you did like this video, make sure to leave a like, because if you did, then I like you. And fucking subscribe. It ain't shit on you time, but it means a lot to me. You know, you press a button, little code goes, and I go, woo, new subscriber. So if you want to make my day, subscribe. And if you're a cold-hearted bastard, just don't. I don't want you anyway. If you watch this video and you ain't a subscriber, get the fuck out of here. Just go somewhere else. We don't want you here. We got the cool people, we got pina coladas, and we got some pineapples, and we got hula hoops. We're having a great time, me and the subscriber gang. Yeah. So, yeah, and so thank you so much. I really appreciate your love. I really appreciate the views, and I really appreciate you, because if you're the kind of person who's watched this whole way through, it means you're someone who this resonates with you, and if this resonates with you, then you're someone who resonates with me. So thank you so much. See you next week.